Hey fam, it's Mari from That Spurs episode. First time going live and really excited. Just want to first, before I forget, before I talk about Spurs business, just want to give a shout out to the Spurs fam on YouTube channel. There are so many I can name, but first I want to give a shout out to Tommy, who introduced me to the world of StreamYard, and so want to give a shout out to him, and just the support from everybody on that platform, from Bob Spur to Brian Daigle to Will Stewart and Cody Mack, the Irish Hotspur, Jack Kanicki, and if I forget anybody else, um, I'm thinking about you, and so I just want to give so thanks just for the encouragement of just starting this channel, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. So just want to give a shout out and some love uh, to all of y'all, and I have some interesting topics that I want to talk about today or tonight. Um, Today was an interesting day for the Spurs fam. I had to be honest, I was at work and I was kind of heated because it just felt like Groundhog's Day in regards to transfer business. So, just a couple things, subjects that I'm going to talk about today. I want to get straight to the issues at hand. My opinions on Paratici. And there's a couple things I titled in Paratici Trust, or is it Daniel Levy pulling the strings? So let me just give you a little background and why me and a couple of other Spurs fans have been kind of angered. And it's tough because there are times where you want to be, you feel like you're a pessimist because of just history of just Daniel Levy, um, you know, leading this club along with Enoch, and it's just been a lot of hurt build up. And so we went through 75 days of just waiting for a manager, being rejected left and right. Let alone we were already disappointed about our season. So the month of June, and I'm putting my counselor's hat on, it was basically depression. We have, I still kind of think we don't have a vision, we don't have a plan. You look at clubs like Leicester City, where they have a vision, they have a plan of how they're going to build the club. You look at teams like West Ham, who are going ahead of us. They're doing their business. I mean, even Scum, Arsenal, it seems like they know what they're doing, and they're doing bits. They're doing business right now as we speak. United, and I felt like in the movie called Left Behind. We're being left behind. So, all right, the month of June, we're just going through uh, just pain, just trying to find a coach to run the team. We don't have a vision, we don't have a plan, and I mean it is bad. And I almost feel like it is Daniel Levy doing this on purpose because then he hires Paratici, and it's kind of like okay, he is the savior because he's going to be DOF, director of football operations, and Levy's going to take a back seat. But the thing is, we know Daniel Levy is always pulling the strings at this club. With Steve Hitchen, we had close deals, many players from Dybala, that one really hurt because we didn't want to pay the image rights, and just numerous players. Jack Grealish, I mean, it just many, many examples, and I could speak for hours of just the coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's what we're called, coulda, shoulda, FC. So, um, discouraging, absolutely discouraging. And so we get Paratici in. We're like, okay, maybe there might be a change. Then, we finally got a coach. We got Nuno, and we still haven't done anything in transfer business yet. But we're hearing that Paratici likes to go after 10 targets at the same position. He's always on his phone 95% of the time, and change is coming. And mind you, yesterday, Ali Gold, put a quote is just saying that Daniel Levy is finally power, conceding power and giving it to the director of football. And I will admit, I was so down and depressed about this club for the month of June and before that, that any little hope, any little nugget, any piece of cracker, because we've been hungry, we were going to jump on, despite knowing that we have many, many needs. Number one being center back. So we picked up, uh, Galini, who is going to be on loan. He's our backup goalie. We'll see how that will go. And then we picked up, um, Gill, Brian Gill, and we think this is going to be a start of a beautiful thing, right? So we pick up Brian Gill. He's a top prospect, and we know that all right, we got some center backs in the pipeline. We have Mr. Romero. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys, I had to step away from the live stream. So, all right, so we're excited, right? We got Brian Gill on the pipeline. We believe that this is finally going to happen. We're finally going to get what I call a Lamborghini, right? That Daniel Levy has finally gave the keys to the kingdom to Paratici, and we are going to be balling. We're going to get, you know, Romero, and also maybe Conde. Though he kind of rejected us, but even then, all right, we could get Milinkovic to go with Romero, and this is going to be a beautiful start. Today, this morning, afternoon in the UK, this morning in the States, reminded that Daniel Levy is still in power. He still holds the keys to the kingdom. He still holds the keys to the car. He is still the man. He is the boss. We joked around. We mentioned Don Paratici, but in all reality, he's not the Don. He's not the boss. The boss is still Daniel Levy. The scum that he is, the evil dictator, still reigns. Perfect example, we can't get this deal done because we don't want to pay for quality. They came up with this option B plan for option A. So I mentioned earlier getting a Lamborghini, because I saw this quote in regards to comparing getting a Lamborghini to three Fiats, which is now two, because Zuma is going to supposedly go to Sevilla, because there's a possible deal between Chelsea and Sevilla for Kunde, which is also a slap in our face. And the frustration for our fan base is that why do we always settle for the third and fourth choice? Why do we always settle for the second best? Why can't we have that nice shiny toy? That's quality. It's quality. Romero can be our Van Dyke. He could be our Ruben Diaz. He could be our defensive captain. The guy is legit. Serie A Defender of the Year. Lionel Messi is thanking him. I watched the Copa America, because I pulled for Argentina. My dad raised me to kind of watch Argentina. So, I mean, Messi is thanking Romero for that performance. Injured against Brazil. The guy is legit. He wants to come to us, and we don't want to pay the man. It's frustrating. My dad told me when I was young, you pay what you get for. He said that to me when I went to this furniture store in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. My dad was a big fan of Italian furniture. And I'm like, Dad, why are you paying so much for Italian furniture? Can't you go to that normal furniture store and get that, uh, uh, or maybe go to IKEA. Not trying to diss IKEA, but those furniture, after 3 or 4 years, 6, 7 years, you see the wear and tear. They just start to break up. My dad told me that Italian furniture is such quality, it will last 2 decades at least. He was right. Before he passed away, and we ended up selling his furniture, that that fine Italian furniture lasted over 20 years easily, and we were able to sell it for good money because it was quality. It was Italian furniture. And so, what's so frustrating with our club is we like to get 2 or 3 good players, while the other top six clubs are getting the top echelon players. They gain the A+ quality, and we just continue to settle for B plus at the most. We lucked out in getting great coaches in Harry Redknapp and um and Pochettino. We lucked out in getting that. We also lucked out in getting Harry Kane and seeing Son, you know, becoming one of the best wingers in the world. We lucked out on it, and Daniel Levy continues to see and build this club on bargains, on bargain buys, and I'm sick of it. So this morning I was like the rest of the fan base in heat, mad, pissed off, steamed that we're possibly going to possibly give up on A+ talent in Romero, who we desperately need. That's great. We signed Galini. That's also great that we signed, you know, um, you know, um, forget the guy, Bright Bill, who I I I really really like. I'm really excited about. But our needs are center backs. We need a quality center back, and so I am I'm down right now. I'm really down. It may change the first day, the first game of the year. I may be, excited. I will be excited because it's the first game of the year. But once I look at the lineup and I see Eric Dyer and Davison Sanchez as our starting center backs, I'm going to be depressed. I just want to give a shout out to Cody Mack. These are some of the people I mentioned earlier who were a big encouragement um, for my channel. Cody Mack, Bob Spurt, who has been a huge support. Spurs debate, the Irish Hotspur, the Don, Mr. David Harris. Um, Hello. These are guys I've looked up to, and I just want to thank you for the support. And I also mentioned Tommy, who was also um, was giving that support. Cody Mack says, um, "What's up, Mari? I'm doing good." Um, Bosper TV says, "Paratici wearing the gloves. but the fingerprints left everywhere are Levy's. Amen to that. Amen to that. And today was proof, evidence that Levy is still the puppet master. It's he still it still goes with him. He still has the final say. Um, I sing "Glory, Glory, Daniel Levy." Oh man, I'm not singing that. Levy out. Cody Mack said Paratici may just be under a strict budget and be looking to maximize it. Um, Barca are not out of the Romero. Apparently, I saw that a couple hours ago. Not sure who else is in for Romero. I don't think the deal is dead, and we should be thankful. Cody Mack, you're correct that Barca, who is struggling anyway to still officially sign Lionel Messi. Um, yeah, I didn't think that had any traction, but you just never know. Real Madrid could just slip in, or I don't know. Well, PSG's a race. Any other club could just still slip in because it's happened in the past. We lost players because of just foolishness that we don't want to pull the trigger. You know, we act like we're a big six club, but we're not. We're not. We have that mentality still of a team that's mid place at best. Um, Bob Spurs says Romero. Spurs debate says big up Eves. Thank you once again. Irish Hotspur says hello Mari. Hello David. Hello the Don. Spurs debate TV says can you sing Glory Glory? Hotspur won't be singing that. Um, big up Ben Choid. Oh yes, Ben. Yes. Big up to you and thank you for the love. And Bob Spur says, I remember seeing your reaction yesterday when I asked the therapist to get ready for a back three of Sanchez, Dyer, and Rodan and versus Man City. Oh, we are going to be laced. When I mean laced, I mean they are going to do a number on us. Though they will be missing players. Most people don't know. Harry Kane is missing the first game. Um, Reportedly Foden and Sterling missing that first game. So maybe we still have a good chance of winning that game with Sanchez, Dyer, and Foden as our back three. Martin, do you think Spurs are in the upmost tier among European football clubs? I saw that question posted. I actually voted no. And I'm gonna be real honest. We act that way, but we don't do our business that way. I think we're just below that tier. Um, we, I really felt that time that we were upmost tier was when we had Pochettino, and at that time he said we needed to do a painful rebuild. That was the time where we could have sold Suzuku while he was hot. We were singing songs, oh, Musa Sissoko. This was the time to sell Musa Sissoko. And we didn't do it, you know. And so a couple other players were able to get rid of Trippier, which I was kind of iffy about because technically we never didn't replace him. If you think Aurier was a better substitute than Trippier, I don't think so. But going back to it, you know, now we're starting to do that painful rebuild, but then we have gone below a tier. So it's discouraging. It really is discouraging. And like I said, you have to understand because there's arguments where people say, I told you so about Levy, I told you so, and those who had that little glimmer of hope. And for me, I wanted to ride that little glimmer of hope, but then I was slapped back into reality and reminded that we're dealing with Daniel Levy. We are dealing with Daniel Levy. As long as he is in this club, he will always have his fingers in the cookie jar. He will always have his tentacles over the club. And my question for you guys who are watching, how long does Paratici last? And I'm not talking about Levy getting rid of Paratici. I'm thinking Paratici getting frustrated because with Juve, he could get everybody he want. It was like easy pickings, slim pickings. I want him. I want that. You know, not to the level of Real Madrid, but for the most part, he can pick and choose who he wants. Now it's just the final say has to go to Mr. Daniel Levy. He's like, Mr. Levy, sir, can I pull this trigger on this deal? And so that is, you know, frustrating because supposedly Paratici is supposed to have that power. Got some more comments here. Cody Max says, I wonder if Paratici spends a year or two at Spurs and then jumps to another Premier club. Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. You know, I am honestly giving it a year. I think he's going to go through the summer transfer window and the winter transfer window. It's going to be like, look, I'm trying to build a winner for you. I got ambition. I got that Conte ambition, and I'm not seeing it with you guys. I'm not. It's I'm not seeing it. So um, I I really think he may leave. He may leave before the end of season's end. you know. So um, I mean, what's his name left? Gosh, if you guys could write down. One of our early director of football. Before Hitchin, he left. Bob, help me out here. Yeah, he left. Trying to remember the name of the guy. Oh yeah, yeah. But Bob Spurs says Grealish, Bruno, Skriniar, Dybala, Poch, Conte, Fonseca, Romero. Do you see the pattern? Hence, I keep asking for calm and caution. Mitchell, yes, Mitchell. He left. Paul Mitchell couldn't handle Levy. He left. He left. So there's a history of frustration working with Levy. And my feeling after today, it was confirmed for me today. You know, others were saying it. And props to them. But for me, today was a reminder, a hard reminder that Daniel Levy still runs the show. It is extremely difficult to work with the man. And so I asked, I put a note, Daniel Levy loves getting free Fiats. If you drive a Fiat, I don't want to offend you, but a Lamborghini, a Lamborghini is top quality. It's a nice, shiny car. It's quality. These are the guys that United are signing. They're doing business. They just signed Varane, which is I still think, I don't know why Real Madrid got rid of him. I know he went down a little bit a notch, but he's still quality. And they picked him up. They picked him up. Same thing with Chelsea with Conde. I know some people don't like his height or whatsoever, but I mean, he's quality. He is a quality center back. You know, those guys, they're going for top echelon center backs, and they're paying for it. Ben White, the person I would not pay 50 mil for him, but Arsenal had a need, and they said, you know what, we want to pay for that. I'm seeing that they're going for Laredo Martinez, the Argentinian for Inter, good striker. They're looking to pay up to 75 million. Or I mean, Arsenal's willing to pay for that. So it's ridiculous. We want to go for plan B. We want to go out for the fiats. And like I use that analogy because I love using analogy about the furniture. We want to get guys who are okay. I would like to get some players who are spectacular, like Kane, like Sonny, and Hoiberg is going to be. I want to get spectacular players who who are going to make a difference from day one. Romero will be a difference maker day one. Cody Mack says, a lot of people rate Milinkovic, part of me is so tempted by Plan B. Tomiyasu, Milinkovic, and Botman would be sick. You know what? I agree with you, and and here's the thing. What sucks is because we've been duped in that. Okay, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get Romero. That now we look at Milinkovic, who's a good player, as a I don't want to say as afterthought, but it's kind of like, you know, Plan B. It's like you put him in the Plan B when Milinkovic could have been Plan A. But see, it's all psychological. It's all psychological with our fan base because our fan base have been so messed up in the brain because of Daniel Levy. You know, he's demented. He's demented. You know, so it's just it's crazy. But um, but yeah, I liked Tomiyasu. Milenkovic had a great year with Florentina, and Botman was actually one of the guys I wanted first. I was like, okay, he's available. But even then, will we sign all three players? I'm here. We'll sign all three for 55 mil. Who knows? Because we're still dealing with Daniel Levy. Um, Spurs Debate TV says, "You reckon we're going to sell Kane?" I've said it in a couple of streams. I said it on um, Bobster's show, and I've said it in Tommy's show. I've even gone on some other shows and just messaged super chat that we're not selling Kane. Um, I haven't really have sweat about it because there's a couple things that is going against this from going through this transfer window. Number one, Kane has 3 years. 3 years, not 2 years. 3 years. There is no urgency for Daniel Levy to sell. Absolute no urgency. Mind you, Daniel Levy knows if Kane stays, Kane's still going to give 110% on that field. He is professionalism. He is class. You open the Webster Dictionary and you see class, professionalism. That is Harry Kane. So he is not going to give us less. And even if he give us a little ounce of less, it's still going to be spectacular. Second thing, just hearing from experts about transfers and the wheeling and dealing of transfers. The Kane is coming back in a week. He still has to talk to Paratici, Nuno, and the board. There's not enough time to pull off a complex deal like this. People have to understand just how much Harry Kane worked off the field. You know, and I mentioned in the States, he is Tottenham. The mark what is so I hate giving Daniel Levy and Enoch props. The way that Tottenham, their brand, is presented throughout the world is amazing, and that's why our fan base continue to grow. It continue to grow. You know, me, I work in the education field. I'm indoctrinating new Spurs fans for my students. I mean, it's amazing the Spurs brand, despite not winning trophies. Despite not winning trophies, it is remarkable how much our brand has grown. And I became a Spurs fan during the Redknapp years, during the Redknapp era. And so from that point on, where I felt like I was the only Spurs fan in town or in Florida, it's just amazing. I run into Spurs fans um, everywhere in Orlando in Tampa, and it's amazing. And when they came to Orlando for a game here, I mean, it was just amazing, and got to meet Ledley King, which is my profile picture on Twitter. And so, um, Harry Kane is, I mean, his value is beyond 200 mil. So, is Manchester City going to pay? Honestly, are they going to pay 160 mil for him? I have some friends who are Manchester City fans, They would be absolutely pissed if Manchester City gets Harry Kane, who's 28 years old, with a history of having bad ankles for 160 mil. I find it hard to believe that Kane's going to go this transfer window, but he will probably go next summer. I have no doubt about it, and we should think about it. If not next summer, the next one, because um, he is getting older, and this past season is really the first year that he's kind of played the whole year. So, great question. Um, Tony Mack says, I still want Romero over Plan B. Quality over quantity. Amen. That's me. I feel that we need to captain our defense. We need quality. Yeah, it's great that we get three good players back there, but I want filet mignon, A plus quality that can rub off on our youngsters, Tanganga, um, Roden, and people forget Cisse. I like Cisse. I know they put him, at I think they put him at right back, but Cisse, no, that game that he played, was he at right back? I'm thought, yeah, I thought he was. I could be wrong. He's really a center back. I like this kid. He's raw, and so when you have top quality talent, it rubs off on the other players. So, and he already is known as a leader. You can see it during Argentina Copa America play. I like Romero. Yeah. So I agree with you. Quality over quantity. Dermot, hey, what's up, Dermot? Hey, man. Hope you're okay, man. I am doing okay. Like I said, I was depressed this morning, but I was at work. You know, school's about to open up here in the States, so I had a couple of meetings, and then it was Taco Tuesday. And like I said, I had some tacos, I had one margarita, so I am all good. And so, thank you for asking, but I am doing okay. Bob Spur, it's not like we never had to settle for Plan B before. Saha, Nelson, Getson, Roden, Nuno. Yeah, no, we're so used to it. We're so used to Plan B. So used to it. Instead of getting Bruno Fernandez, that one hurt. We got Getson Fernandez. It's a really joke. It's like Martin Lawrence used to joke on his TV show. You know, I just bought a new pair of Nikes, and one of the other characters like, "You mean Nikes?" He's like, "No, I got Nikes." We're always settle for a knockoff, and I'm not trying to say that the talent is a knockoff talent, but we want the original. You sell us the original, you don't get it, and then you give us the backup plan, which kind of feels like a knockoff, you know. So it's not like going to McDonald's, but you're going to McDowell's. For any coming to America fans, so it's yeah, it sucks. Um, Ben says, Spurs base says, should we have waited to build the stadium and use the money on recruitment, or building the stadium was correct at the expense of play recruitment? I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way, but I never got a chance to. It's funny because I've been to England 8 times, but the 8 times I've been to England, honestly, has been off season, or the time I've gone there, Spurs has been on a road game. What Where I have been to see Spurs, funny enough, has been in the States. Um, so I've always wanted to go inside White Hart Lane. I've walked around White Hart Lane, but never been in there. And I'm kind of nostalgic, like stadiums like Wrigley Field, Fenway in baseball, in football, Lambeau Field. Historic fields, historic stadiums. I've heard from people that White Hart Lane was a good stadium. It's not a dump, But even if it was a dump, the thing is, if the team is winning, who cares? We love that stadium. We love that dump. And so I know our new shiny stadium and the N17 Tottenham Stadium. We still don't have a name. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And I was supposed to honestly um go see the stadium, this year. Take a not no the year COVID came in. Took a tour because me and my buddy of mine were going to go see the Euros, the original Euros in 2020. That got canceled. My hope is to come in March to go to a couple of games. So I want to meet up with some of the guys who are over there in London and just catch up with you guys and also attend the game in the new stadium. But honestly, I'm with you. That money should have been used in better recruitment than worrying about building a stadium. Winning a couple of trophies to go into the new stadium rather than building the stadium and hoping to get trophies. And their excuses, okay, we gotta pay for the stadium. We gotta mind you, I'm in Orlando, Florida, home of Tavistock. I've seen their shiny new toy, which is Lake Nona Medical City. Let me tell you, Joe Lewis, Enoch, they are not struggling for money. I don't care as much as they may say in public or in interviews, they are not struggling. They are banking. I have two friends that work for Tavistock. One of them, real good friend of mine, um, Joe Lewis actually hooked him up with a signed Harry Kane jersey. He has his Harry Kane jersey. So there was a running joke that did Joe Lewis know who Harry Kane is? Because there was a blurb saying that he was upset. He knows who Harry Kane is. He gave my friend an autographed Harry Kane jersey. So he knows Harry Kane is the most important player on the team. So he knows. It's just that he doesn't care about investing as much into the team than his other projects. Like Nona, Medical City. Look it up. Google it. That whole neighborhood of Lake Nona, it's awesome. They one time had a golf tournament, the Tavistock Cup, which they stopped for some reason. Tiger Woods played it. It's at that Lake Nona golf course. It's amazing, and I play golf. I haven't played that course, but I've driven by there, and it's amazing. So, um, excellent question there in regards to. I personally felt that they should have waited in building the stadium, especially because I wanted to visit or attend a game at White Hart Lane. Cody Mack says we could have built the stadium and stayed closer to the budget and killed two birds in one stone. Yeah, yeah, we could have definitely done that, but who knows the mind of Daniel Levy, and and I don't want to get to know it. So yeah. Um, Another banner question I have is going back to transfer needs. Let me remove this transfer needs. So we still haven't addressed our transfer needs. It still it still hasn't happened. We got Galini. He's he could be good. He could be great, or he could be a bust. And that's what we kind of did that deal. Because if we truly believe that he is the successor, it would have been a loan. It would have been a straight transfer deal. But we did a loan, and kind of protects us. Um, in January, I kind of hope that we're going to go after Mike Madigan or Donnarumma because I kind of knew that he was going to be a free agent, and but that never panned out. But then again, we had paid that amount that PSG played, but Donnarumma. Well, Donnarumma wanted to go to a team that plays in the Europa Conference League, and so we settled, for what we settled for. Brian, not Gill, Brian Hill, um, I really like this kid. I really do. I think he is going to. I eventually, in my opinion, I think he's going to play the middle. I see him being our future David Silva type. People mention his size for the Premier League, and I mentioned David Silva. Yes, I would like for him to bulk up, but not too much that it affects his elusiveness and having the ability to get fouled a lot. So I like the kid. I've seen the stats. Um David of Irish Hotspur had a great show with Jack Kanicki about him, and I know Matt Harris had one where it just showed the stats of his successful dribbles, his attack in the box. I saw a game where in Spain where they were struggling against uh was it Australia? I want to say they were struggling against Australia. They put him on, and Spain had three chances within minutes because of Mr. Hill, and he had a nutmeg. Of course, it was kicked out of bounds for a throw-in, but you could tell that this guy is not afraid to attack the defenders. And behind Dembele, he's our best dribbler. He would strike fear of defenders in regards to being humiliated. I can't think of anybody on our team that has that ability. So he's a young lad. Give him time. Was he in need? No. Was he an opportunity buy? I like to call it. Yes, he was an opportunity buy, especially because Lamela got shipped off. So he was an opportunity buy. But was he in need? No. I would need, as everybody knows, we need center backs. We need a center back, and we need backup striker. We need a right back, and I like to. And I've been saying this. I would like to get a creative midfielder. We haven't had one since Ericsson. One that can create in the middle. One that who is deadly from the free kick, from free kicks. We haven't had that since Ericsson. We haven't replaced Ericsson, and there are a couple of players that we're looking at. Rumor has it, Aurier for Lyon. Um, I like Stabilzer, you know, um, as a possible player that could do that. So uh, it goes back to center backs. It goes back to center backs. We need to stop. We need to stop the huge leak, the flood that we have in the back of that defense. And I said this on Tommy's show a couple of days ago. The problem, the frustration that I have right now is that we're not going to get these guys in time for the last couple of preseason games. And I was watching Stelios earlier, and Stelios said exactly how I was feeling. Every year, I will go in and say that Spurs has a chance to win the Premier League. Even in reality, it looks like we may be an eighth place club or ninth place club. I feel that we are going to win the Premier League. We are going to win trophies. We have to start from the gates, from the first game. I hate that every August 31st or September 1st, we do our deals. We already played 3 or 4 games. We already dropped points because we don't have a cohesive team because we get our targets late. We must have a center back this by the end of this week. We have to. We have to. Even if we have to start the first game with Sanchez, I almost said Toby, Sanchez, Rodon, and um Dyer, we still need to bring Romero or any other center back target. We gotta get him in, or we are going to be in trouble. It's not good to start off on the wrong foot. And I hate we can see that every year. Stelios brought up a good point. If we had done our transfer business the last season early, and we didn't drop points against Everton, mind you, we were 4 points off the top four. 4 points. you know. And yes, we lost points because of our defense. You know, the West Ham game where we let them come back. You know, we dropped points there, but still, at the beginning of the year, that Everton game, we could have got the 3 points in that game if we had some of our targets in. And so we got to start off um, getting our targets in. Let me read some of the comments here. Should we have waited? Or I read that. Bob Spurs says if football loving aliens landed tomorrow, they'll read the Spurs report and think that Paratici is the manager slash coach. I don't want to hear from Nuno constantly, but he's not even spoken up. I totally agree. Um, the reason is I heard Nuno doesn't really like talking to the media, or he doesn't know how to do it well, or it kind of upsets him. And I'm like, dude, you have a high profile job. You have as much as we don't the success hasn't shown on the field in regards to trophies. Tottenham is a huge position, and if you're the coach and manager, you have to expect that you are going to get publicity. You're going to have to face the media, and so we would like to get to know you more. We'd like to hear from you. So I yeah, I do find that a bit strange. Who do you like for striker targets? Well, here's the deal. Another reason why I want um, Harry Kane, if he's going to go the next season, because I didn't know this happened, but I didn't know there was a switch of teams for Andre Silva. I love Andre Silva. He's 6'1", an inch shorter than Harry Kane, scored 30 goals and 10 assists. I love that. Andre Silva would be perfect, but he's not available. So people mention Danny Ings. Other than he gets injured, he does score. I mean, he does score goals. That one year he had 22 goals. I want to say that one year. Um, yeah, I like Danny Ings. I'm not in love with him, but I would take him. I would like for us to go after Tony from Brentford, but I don't see Brentford. They just moved up into the Premier League, selling him. I think they're going to just reject all offers. Um, but I would love to get him. Um, it's an interesting question. I threw out a wild card. Um, he has a high salary, but I was thinking if we get the Kane money, let's just say we get the Kane money, Antoine Griezmann, put him up front with Sonny, you know, two forwards up top, maybe. But then again, Griezmann, he's a Champions League club. Would he would he leave Barcelona for Tottenham? Who knows? Nice top, mate. Let's have a look. Oh, it is the last time we won something in Europe is the UEFA jersey from uh, okay, from the UEFA final 83-84 season. So yeah, um, I saw it online uh, a while back. I'm like, I gotta have that jersey, and kind of thought it would give us good luck in regards to uh, our success getting back into Europe and succeeding there. So, what about Danny Ings, Cody? What's your views on Deli Ali, sell or keep? I'm sell. Boohoo model, he has to go. Um, Deli Ali, the last 2 years he's lost his drive. Um, Even the embarrassment of not being on the England national team, I he is still lollygaggling. That's a word that we say here in the States. Sometimes on the field, I hate At the times in the final third, he would do this flick pass, which once in blue moon it would work. He will just kill the attack. I'm done with Dele Ali, and mind you, I was a big Dele Ali fan. He was clearly my second favorite player behind Harry Kane, but the success has gotten to his head. He's worried about dating Pep's daughter and all this other bull crap. Like I'm done with Dele Ali. I'm done. If we can get someone to pay 40 mil for him, I'll honestly sell him for 30. For 30, 25, maybe I would. There's no way Daniel Levy is going to sell him at that price. Absolutely. No, there's no way, no how. But if we could get someone, say maybe, I don't know, I wouldn't think Everton would do that. Everton will more go after Winks. If we can find a team that wants to take a chance at Dele Ali for 35 mil, I would do it in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Not a big Ings booster. Don't tell Will. I won't tell him. Yeah, Danny Ings. He is. Uh, yeah. I don't know why. I mean, because he's effective when he plays. It's just I don't know. He. I, but then again, if we need a striker, you might as well go after Danny Ings. You might as well. Has Son shown lack of ambition for trophy by signing for Spurs? Has he become Spursy? That's a good question because Son clearly loves the club. He loves the club. Not saying that Kane does it, but it's just like you know, is grass greener on the other side, and that's in the mind of Kane right now. Will I be able to win on the other side? And Sonny, it's a good question because his brand, he has to win trophies. He is the most popular Far Eastern player of his time. And so, I've heard stuff about his dad, his dad really controls what's going on, you know, but, you know, it's tough. You know, I think Son has the ambition that he wants to win with Spurs, and I commend that. My question for you guys who are watching is a buddy of mine asked me, all right, if Spurs sells Kane, right, they sell Kane, let's say they sell him this window. First game of the year, they play Manchester City. What is your reaction? And I'm telling you this, my reaction is the reaction that I have with any other favorite sports team. I love Harry Kane. We'll have a testimonial for him. I will keep his jerseys. Would never burn them. But as soon as I see him playing for another team, he is the enemy. He is the enemy. As soon as he plays for another team, he is the enemy. There's no good luck because you're not playing for another league. You're playing the Premier League. You're playing for a rival. There is no, hey, good luck with Manchester City. We're competing with Manchester City. Another thing, you're going to Manchester City. You win a trophy there. You know, it's by I don't want to say by success, but it's kind of is. You're going to Oil FC. That's why I call Manchester City. Oil FC to win a trophy. How hard it is. I mean, congrats. It's not really hard to win at Oil City. You'll get greater glory winning at Spurs at your home club. So um, that's my that's my feeling. If Harry Kane ever leaves Tottenham, where I see our fan base, hey, great job with such and such at PSG, and good job Trippier at Atletico, and I don't want to hear that. you know, yeah, good luck to you, but I don't. Especially he's going to Manchester City. But the day he goes to Manchester City or any other rival, I honestly it will be a divorce. But you come back, for a testimonial, and I'm cheering for you. Once your playing career is over, you know, I love you. So that is one of my opinions. But I would like to get your thoughts. If Harry Kane, you see him in another jersey, what is your thought? What comes to mind? You know. So another question here. Although Levy has failed at Spurs overall, what would you say he has done well over the years? The brand, the stadium, and just the brand that is Tottenham, which is just to, I guess, his business acumen. But when it comes to football intelligence, I think it's the zero. I think he's an idiot in regards to he think he knows football and what is to how to build a great football team and how to sustain that. He think he knows, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He's a poser, and that's what happens to those people who are narcissistic and they want all that control. They even want control over things that they do not know. And clearly, um, Daniel Levy and his evidence of 20 years does not know um, football and has no ambition. Um, I forgot who was saying this about Bob Sugar, and when he got at the time Klinsman, and just even at the state of Spurs at that time, but he had the ambition to go after an A+ player in Klinsman. It's just so which goes to show you about Daniel Levy. So it's just uh, I detest the man. Absolutely, I have some choice words, but I'm on YouTube. Don't want to use those choice words. Let me go back to our last question and put it up there. Will Spurs be ready for the season opener? And I've mentioned that earlier that if we don't get the transfers done, the center back transfers done this week, I don't think we'll be ready. And Bob Spur TV mentioned this on his channel that though we got rid of Deadwood, we're actually weaker because we don't have depth. We don't have the depth that our team needs. Remember, we got games in the conference league and we got some of the cup games coming up. So we need to be able to protect our players in regards to games played. So we need to get some business going. So it's yeah, we got to get some players in because yeah, we're getting rid of the Deadwood, but the depth that we have is it's shrinking, and we need to get some players in. Some extra comments here. Thank you, Ben. You speak sense. Oh, you speak sense well, bro. Speak soon. Take care. From Josh Ben Chuck. Thank you, Ben, for the support. Um, Graham Stewart is in the house. He says, "I would sell Kane if we got good money. I think Paratici can really do good things with the money. Would rather have 6 quality players with other player sales." Yeah. If you can guarantee that Paratici will have that control in getting good players, and that's the key. That's the key question: is Paratici really going to be given the keys to the kingdom and buy those good players? Like I said earlier, it looks like Daniel Levy is still pulling the strings. Plan B sounds like Daniel Levy. Plan A is Paratici. Paratici wants to get that quality Lamborghini. If we get 6 quality Lamborghinis rather than, 6 Fiats, and like I said, no offense to those who drive Fiats, they're nice cars, but you know, um, it all depends who is running the show. And I mentioned earlier that I I I, I give Paratici 1 year until he personally leaves, like Paul Mitchell, because he's gonna get frustrated about all right, you hired me to do a job to get this club back to championship league quality, and you're not you're not supporting me. You're not giving me the final thumbs up. And with these deals, Daniel Levy still has to say. He still has to say. So, you know, and it's frustrating. It really is frustrating, And today was a harsh reality. It was a reminder for those who had some hope, those who were calling. And I joked around. I saw the picture of, Dom Paratici, with the Godfather look, and but like I said, today was a harsh reality that Daniel Levy still pulls the strings, and Paratici is now Fredo. Using a Godfather reference, he's still Fredo. Fredo Paratici. Yeah, we'll give you power. In the movie, Michael wants to, he gives Fredo, a title, responsibility, to make him feel good. Because it's embarrassing that your younger brother, runs the mafia family, but you know but Fredo really doesn't have any power, and so Paratici is like, yeah, you do all the groundwork, but Daniel Levy is the real Don. He gets the final say, and it's frustrating because Daniel Levy doesn't know football. He sucks. So, um, great question there, Graham. Scott, yes, Scott is in the house, man. Brother Scott, Kane in another jersey would absolutely depend on which one Chelsea blue off for pure enemy. PSG wish him the best. Hope he wins a ton. City somewhere in between. Hope they lose to us, but win over rivals. Yeah, I would go there, in the sense of, okay, Harry Kane plays for City. They beat United. Okay, great. They beat Arsenal, great. But if it's a game where they're, let's just say, by miraculous, we're top of the ladder, we're top of the league, and they're catching up to us, you better believe I'm hoping City lose, um, drop points to get nowhere near us. If Harry Kane played for PSG or Bayern, it wouldn't hurt as much. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know what, you can win the Bundesliga, and if we meet in Champions League, you're the enemy. But now that if he plays for City or any other Premier League team, and and I see him in that jersey, automatically he is the enemy. In my mind, he is the enemy. I can't. It will be extremely hard to root success for him. It just is. And I know he had the interview with Gary Neville. For me, I was kind of irked by it. To be honest, I was kind of irked by it, and I was just like, you know what, you like De Bruyne. Yeah, I know Neville's asking him the question. He has to answer it. But it's kind of like, all right, if we get the right deal, you know, and mind you, I love Kane. I love him. But I love the badge. I love the badge more than any other player. You know, I love the badge more. And for me, during our Champions League run, when we didn't have Kane, yeah, I missed him, but there was just a euphoric excitement of that run, and he wasn't there. Reason being, because I love the club, I love the badge more than the player. So you know, I hope he's a one man team. I hope he's a Totti, who played with Roma. We looked at the NBA for the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis had a chance to leave Milwaukee, but he says, "No, I want to stay. I'm meant to stay with the Bucks and win an NBA championship." And I retweeted that, and I was hoping that King would see that, like, hey, you know what? Giannis didn't leave to go to the Lakers or the Heat or any other team. He stayed with Milwaukee and won with the team that drafted him. So I'm hoping Kane does the same. Kane is one of the only players with any value. How much money can we really get for Dyer, Winks, Sanchez? Uh, Sanchez, because there are actual teams who think Sanchez is actually good, and he had a good Copa America. I think for Sanchez, we could get 30 to 35. Winks, 20 to 25. Now, mind you, if Winks, I would sell Winks for 10 mil. I'm done with Winks. So if it's for 10 mil, 15 mil, I would do it. I think we could get a sucker because it would be a sucker to buy Winks for 20 mil, for 25 mil. Dyer, I don't really know the number. It's kind of hard to come up with a number. I want to say 20, you know. Um, maybe say 25 because he was on the national team, you know. Um, and he's still Dyer's what 25, 26. So uh, of course I think Kane and I think Deli Ali, yeah, Deli Ali would probably be oh wait, not Song of course. Deli Ali would be out of the dead weight, probably the most valuable player, I think. Um, so yeah, great question. Um, yeah, so my last question is: will Spurs be ready for the season opener? As of today, I do not think so. I do not think so. Until we finally get our center backs in, that we get some first player talent in regards to right back, two center backs, um, a right winger. Yes, I don't think we're gonna get a right winger in time. Um, I'm thinking it's either gonna be Lucas Moura or Bergie. And it also really depends on the formation too. We're gonna see that in the next couple of preseason games, you know. So it's really hard to tell. You got to remember, Tottenham. We're a team that has no vision. We're a team we have no vision. Now I know Nuno has come in and Paratici has an idea, but do we really have a unified vision like a Leicester? It's embarrassing to mention Leicester City because we should always be ahead of them. But we're looking at their success and how they built their team. That looks like a club that has a vision from head to toe, from top to bottom, from the higher ups to the coaches. And we have that. And so, you know, will we be ready? And that is the question. Um, a couple of things. Tomorrow we do play MK Dons. And so I kind of have a lineup or a sample lineup I would like to see tomorrow. Um, I would love to. I'm thinking that Scarlett might not start. He might come in the second half. I would love to see Scarlett start, but I think he's gonna come in the second half. So I'm looking at my little chart here. I have Song starting, um, Bergvine, Lucas, Deli Ali, Winks, Skip, and then Dyer, Taganga, um, Joe Hart, hopefully Sessignon. I would love to see Sessignon come in. And then I got Patowski. I really like that kid, Patowski. Um, I think that's the club that Nuno is going to have tomorrow. I would, if I had my choice, I would take out Winks and put John in because I really like John. I like the way he advances the ball on the turn. Um, and he has really been all over the field in a good sense. The first two games, I think John is a guy that should get Conference League minutes, probably Cup minutes. Um, to be honest, didn't know much about now John before this preseason game. I knew he was on the team, but didn't really know about him. And I was impressed that first game. Had a couple shot attempts on goal. Always advanced the ball on the turn. Going just truly impressed by him. I was impressed by Cisse. Of course, Dane. I mean, cold-hearted assassin. I mean, just amazing. So I'm really excited about the youth. Um, Jack Clark. Uh, if we could sell him, sell him. Would like to see a little bit more Alfie Divine. The second game, he had a chance, created a chance close to the end of the game. I would like to see a little bit more of Alfie Divine. Um, I'm wondering what's happened to Dennis Churkin. I would like to see him, more of him. Um, I don't know if he's injured or it's just don't know. That's a strange one. If anybody knows, just send me a message about Dennis Churkin. But Patowski, I really liked. He had that nice assist that set up the goal for Deli Ali that last game. And Session, I would love to see Session play. So yeah, 15 mil for Dyer, and I think I would be very happy. Agreed. Agreed. Graham says the way I look at it, if it's true that if we had to sell to buy, then we are screwed. If we don't sell if we sell someone like Kane, no point on holding on to him if we can't really improve the team. Yeah, I mean it. Yes and no, because I'm of the belief we're not that far. We were a couple points away from top four. If we did our business early and we did it right, especially with the defense, we can be a top four team. We could be number four. We can be that. Mind you, because we got Harry Kane and Son is the best strike force in the Premier League. One of the best strike force. I know we had Bale, but even with Bale not being there, and yes, we have to find a replacement of 10, 15 goals. But you know what? If we built this team right, we can, you know, there could be opportunities for Bergvine. There could be opportunities for Lucas. You know, I think what hurt us is that we used to get goals from midfield. Remember, we had Ericsson and Dele Ali when he was Dele Ali, you know, but now he's playing like his brother. So, you know, will we get goals out of Tanguay? Will we get goals out of Lo Celso? I mean, Lo Celso scored goals um, before he got to Tottenham with his previous team. So, you know, will he finally wake up? Will he finally, score for the midfield? And so, we kind of need that. And if we solidify the defense, we can make some noise. We can make some noise. But the key thing is we got to get these moves in. We got to build a cohesiveness of this team. We need a Romero. We need a Milinkovic. We need our center backs to come in to play that last preseason game against Chelsea and Arsenal so they can at least, if they have to come from the bench against the City game, we could get off and running. I hate the fact that we do transfer business on August 31st, September 1st. You're already conceding that the first three games we're not going to have our full team. And a team like ours, we got to get off once the gates are open. We got to be off to the races. So, um, but yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I'm of the belief that we could keep Kane and still build a good team. Um, Graham also says, agrees, Spurs 72. One of Levy's biggest problems is overvaluing, yes, exactly, our players, not selling them when he has the chance and paying the wages for 2 years and then letting them leave for free or peanuts. Musa Sissoko should have been sold right after the Champions League. I was saying that should have been sold. You know, Aurier, the beginning of last year should have been sold. I'm mentioning toxic players on our team, players who clearly say they want to leave. What big club keeps the player that says that they want to leave? Spurs. Spurs. And we act like we're a big club, but we're not because these players should have been gone a long time ago. That painful rebuild. They should have been gone a long time ago. And so, and then we overvalue our the players. Um, One of the players was this Suzuki was offered by Napoli and it said 30 mil, and of course they rejected it. I want to say it was Sissoko. So yeah, Daniel Levy has this weird thought that our players are worth more than their true value is, and so that's going to be a problem. Uh, what was your views on Jose? Was he rightfully sacked at the end? I'm gonna answer that because since I'm new, I'm gonna give you my real opinion. Um, but I want to get this, Mario. Are you the U.S. or UK? I am in the U.S. in Orlando, Florida, home of Tavistock, home of Joe Louis. Like I like to say, I'm in Orlando, Florida. Great question. Thank you, Spurs 72. Um, Graham, you're so right about Levy. Yes, very right about Levy. Thank you for the support, Spurs 72. Um, my view on Jose. Um, I used to have not a big argument, but a little debate with someone who I knew was the biggest anti Jose hater on Twitter. She was actually the president of the anti Jose fan club. For me, I was Jose in and sometimes Jose neutral. I was never Jose out. And here's the reason. Here's the reason why. Three things. Number one, I felt he was never fully backed. Never fully backed. He won a skinnier before it was even Gabriel came into the picture. He wanted to fix up that defense. I was impressed that he got us in first place on top of the Premier League for over a month. In my lifetime of being a Spurs fan, which goes to the Harry Redknapp days, I have not seen that, and that's a fact. A lot of Jose Alders were like, well, get about style play. But when his style play was working, we were at top of the league. What happened is our players quit on him because they got lazy. Clearly got lazy. Some of these guys would think about being on the national team. Harry Winks, Eric Dyer, you know, a lot of these guys they can't handle success, and they end up quitting. They weren't there for the long haul. To win the Premier League, to have success, it is a long road. It is a long battle, and we clearly saw the players quit. Hugo Lloris mentioned it. Harry Kane, even though mentioned, the players that loved Jose, Hoiberg, Harry Kane, those were the warriors on the team. Yeah, a lot of guys who quit on the badge. And so that was a recipe for a disaster. And then what made it much worse, 'cause I'm gonna fast forward it, to stack him 6 days before a cup game. When you know that Jose is one of the best cup game. I don't care that we're struggling. He is one of the best cup game managers that's out there. To sack him, let alone sack him and not have a plan, is ridiculous. I am a guidance counselor. I work with students to help them formalize a plan. Tottenham Hotspur is a professional sports organization club. To sack not Daniel Levy. I would love to sack Daniel Levy. Impossible. To sack Jose Mourinho 6 days before a game and put wet behind the ears Ryan Mason in, plays all his buddies, you know, and I was pissed. And when I saw that lineup, knowing that Manchester City is going to press and see Harry Winks started over Tanguy, I was just like, oh my goodness, this would never happen if Jose was coaching that game, was the manager of that game. So, love the question. Um, got to the point at the end of the season. If you're going to get rid of Jose, at least wait to the end of the year, season, and have it planned. Or finally back him, back the manager, back. I felt Poch didn't get backed, and I felt Jose didn't get backed. You know, yes, the style of play, you know, it wasn't to liking, but I'm come to a point. I want to win. I want to win trophies. You know, we'll talk about this DNA style of play. It was the same person I was arguing with. Well, stop. It's been it's been since 2008 since we last won a trophy. Style of play, DNA. What has it brought us? Trophyless. So, so I was not happy when they got attacked Jose, and especially when we didn't have a plan. I'm just like, if you had a plan, oh, okay, we're gonna go Ten Hag. No, it wasn't Ten Hag first. It was the one that's at Bayern right now, Nagelsmann. We're gonna get Nagelsmann. We didn't get him. We coulda, shoulda, FC. That's our name. Coulda, woulda, FC. Mario, you better get this Jose question right. No, no. Mind you, Scott, I love beautiful attacking football. I get that. I love it. But if you bring Jose Mourinho in, right, and you're gonna play pragmatic football, right, then we need to get the players so he can play that style. Atletico Madrid, right, plays the same style that Jose Mourinho wants to play. Atletico Madrid won La Liga. Even Chelsea had played that pragmatic way in getting that Champions League run. Even Chelsea played the way that Jose really wants to play. I get that. I love beautiful offensive football, but I also like to win. I want to win. And we already brought Jose in. Trust me, I was heartbroken. I'm a Poch guy. But when we brought Jose in, I said, okay, we could be like his great Inter team, good defense, counter attacking football. Atletico, they won they won La Liga playing that way. Chelsea played that way to a Champions League title. They honestly played that way. The way that Jose wanted to play. But when you don't back the manager, that's what happens. So, you know, so I was Jose in, Jose neutral. It wasn't really Jose out. When Jose was out, I was like, do we have a plan? Do we have a plan? Do we have a plan? We didn't have a plan. You can have a player that Graham says you can have a player that if he belongs to us, want 45 mil for them. If that same player is a player we want to buy, his value is 15 mil. Okay, read that question again. You can have a player that If he belongs to us, we want 45. Yes, of course, for them. But if that's a player is is a player we want to buy is 15 mil. Yeah, that's Daniel Levy. That's basically Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy would never give a bargain. Would never give a bargain. But for us, he expects a bargain. He always wants a bargain. Romero is not a bargain player. He's creme de la creme. He's filet mignon. Daniel Levy uh, goes into the auto dealership. That BMW or Mercedes Benz costs $60,000, and he wants. Oh, wait a minute. Hey,
Hey,
Kyrian.
how's it going, Mari?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I was in the middle of a point. I was just saying that Daniel Levy will walk into a car dealership or Mercedes Benz car dealership, and it costs $60,000 for it. Let's just say 60. Though it costs more, and want it for $20,000.
Yeah, yeah, of course. He
And
always
that's
wants the cut rate price.
yeah, that's Daniel Levy. And and if it was the reverse, that um that Fiat earlier, which is valued at maybe 20,000, he wants to sell it for 45. And
Yep.
so that is Daniel Levy. That is that is him, and we are used to it. We shouldn't even be surprised. And I was a sucker. I was saying earlier, I was a sucker this morning, just thinking that Paratici, was in full control, but Daniel Lee is like, ha ha, I gotcha. I am still the man. I am still in charge. I'm still pulling the strings. Paratici is Pinocchio, and I am Geppetto, and he still runs, and I use the Godfather term, the Don is not Paratici, he's more like Fredo, and Levy is the Don. He has the final say. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so it's frustrating. It really is, and am I'm kind of over it,
I
and I'm
I just think I think we shouldn't hit the panic button just yet. I mean, I think we do know that Levy at the end of the day is going to have to sign off on any and all transfers on the final price, and that's a problem. But I think I don't know. I just don't want us to give up on Paratici because I think Fabio can maybe push Levy, convince Levy to do what is right. I think just give it time, and we got to be careful not to overreact to any and all headlines that are coming out because these like journalists, other clubs, they all have an interest in pushing certain narratives as well. And I don't know, especially on the Romero thing. I still think it's going to happen. I really do. I think it might take till the end of the week. It might go into next week. He probably won't play the City game, but I think it'll happen.
okay. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just right now, um, I'm to the point, and I know Stelios mentioned this, and Bob has mentioned this. I'm to the point. I have to see the shirt. I gotta see them sign that contract, the ink. I've like lost hope, and shame on me. I should have known better. I should have known better, and I feel that the signing has to happen this week, so we can get off and running. But I'm to the point where I'm just like, whatever with these rumors. If we sign them, we sign them. That's how dejected I felt this morning. You know,
Yeah,
um, it's just like Plan B. We don't want to pay over 40 mil for a guy who is quality. Like, I know I joke around about the auto dealership, but if you want a Mercedes Benz, you got to pay 60,000, 70,000. You're not going to
absolutely.
get a Mercedes Benz for 20,000.
And
You're
you know what the
not.
funny thing is, Mari, is that even at whatever they want, 55 million, that's still a cut rate price. Because if this were a regular transfer window and not a COVID affected market, then his price would probably be closer to 75, 80 million. So like you gotta look at it. We're already getting a deal, which makes it doubly worse for Levy. Which was the case with Jack Grealish when we haggled over £3 million, and the case for and Bruno Fernandez for so many of these players that we could have gotten in the past. A lot of times, what the club was asking for was already less than what their normal market value would be, and that still wasn't good enough for Levy.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just I'm just frustrated because it's been over and over again. Paul
Yeah,
Dybala, oh, don't want to pay the image rights. Can you imagine? And at that time, getting Dybala and putting him with Kane and Song. I mean, I was getting wet dreams just thinking about it.
yeah,
And we were so close, so close. And that one, that had me rolling. And then Skinnier, well, oh man, if we get him,
yeah.
man, Jose has a defensive captain, and you saw how he balled for Inter. And I'm just like, if we had him, honestly, as I was talking about Jose, um, if we had him, we wouldn't win the league, but we would have been top four. If we had Skinner on our team
Oh
this
yes,
preseason, we would have been top four. Maybe
absolutely, no
second
question.
or third. We would have been top four automatically.
And
But
wait, what was the price that they wanted for Skriniar again? This is like
oh, I want to say it was 50. It was like 45, 50. It was that
45,
range.
50 million. And
Yeah,
and
it was.
and 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 now, after the season that he's had, and after Milan won Serie A, won the Scudetto, he's like a 70, 75 million pound player.
Oh yeah,
So
easily.
once again, not only were we haggling, but we were haggling over an already discounted price.
Yeah,
You just
I,
can't make it up. You can't write
yeah.
this stuff. It's crazy.
It is. It is. And it's just, the Italian clubs, kind of have to sell, same with the Spanish clubs. And it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating. And right now, it's just like, just go the extra 8 mil, pay the
Yeah.
dude, bring him in. You have quality. He will rub off on the youngsters, you know, and it would be perfect. I want to mention Yid Kid. Yid Kid is in the house. He's an
Hey, pick up
awesome
your
kid.
kid.
He's like 12 years old, and he is running the game on YouTube channel. Shout out to you. And I'll ask you that question, Kirian, about
Mm.
Juan Gil. But I will say, give shout out to Gene. Um, yeah, 100% agree. He says Jose should still be here. Should have been backed. I agree, and we're not. And Spurs are lacking the cojones. I want to say, but no, I
Yeah.
totally agree, Gene. I was like, if he was truly backed, especially we didn't have a plan when we fired him. I'm like, if we could go back in time, I would never let him go. Never let him go. But it happened, and it is what it is. So let's get to Yid Kid's question. He says, "Hi, Mari. How's everything? Your thoughts on Brian Gill?" I gave my thoughts earlier on Brian Gill. I said Brian Gill was an opportunity, not a need. We all know that we need two center backs, a right back, possibly a right winger, a striker. I would like a proper CAM of the Ericsson mold, if we can. But I know we can't get them all. Getting Galini is, it's a chance to see. Okay, if he works out, pan out, it's a loan. I like Brian Hill, as they pronounce it correctly. I like Brian Hill in the sense of he's not afraid to attack the defenders, very creative. He sets up chances in the box. And mind you, he played for Ibar, which is the lowest of the low, and he's in the top echelon of the stats of creating um, opportunities. Harry Kane will have a wet dream thinking about playing with this guy, um, especially if he gets into full form um, this first year. So my thing is, he's still a kid, but he's an advanced kid. I saw the Spain game, and I like what I saw. He really helped Spain to beat Australia when he came in and built that attack. Is he is he ready to go to the first team? We'll soon find out. We will soon find out. But like I said, he's an opportunity signing. He's not in need. He's a tremendous talent. There are people who are Seville fans, Barcelona fans, Madrid fans who are questioning how did Tottenham get this guy? Because he's clearly talented. He is not a Jack Clark, you know. He's not, um, some of these other. He's actually talented. He is creme de la creme. If we coach him right, and Nuno is known for coaching good talent, I think the sky's the limit for him. And I think eventually he's going to end up in the middle and be our own David Silva. Yes, he needs to get a little bit of muscle, but not too much because I don't want him to lose his elusiveness. That's what makes him so great, you know. And you can be uh a bit light, not too light, but a bit light and be successful. I mentioned David Silva, you know, um, and there's been other players, but that's the first one that comes to my mind. Um, and so I like Brian Hill. I think the sky's the limit for him. Yes, he's not, like some people say he's messy and no, no, no. Let him grow, and sky's the limit with him.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I'm the same. Like, he's a top prospect, but he's just that, a prospect.
Yeah,
So why everybody's getting all up in arms about it, I don't understand. We're just bringing in a young player who has a lot of potential, and we'll see if he lives up to it. And people are saying that, oh, well, we need A, B, and C. We need a center back. We need a right winger, right back. Yeah, of course we need those things, and I believe that we will get some, if not all, of those things through the door. But the whole thing is, I mean, we know we need those players in those positions, and so does every other club in Europe. And that's the thing, is that, you know, Paratici isn't working on just center backs or just right backs. He's working on filling every need that the team has at every
agree.
position that we need players. And he's working on all of these at the same time.
Agree.
And sometimes the deals that get announced first, the players that come in first, are just the deals that got finished first. And usually it is players that, in this kind of strategy, when you're using this kind of strategy, it usually is going to be players that you don't necessarily need that come through the door first because they're the easiest deals to complete.
Yeah,
When you're trying to fill a need and other clubs know you're trying to fill a need, well, that's when it becomes a long drawn out process, because that's when clubs want to get the extra few million out of you. The agent wants his extra sign on fee, blah, blah, blah. And it takes longer. It just takes longer.
yeah, and you know the the big point about that deal is we got rid of Lamela. Now,
Yeah.
mind you, you know Bob brought up a good point. All right, we just got rid of Toby, we got rid of Lamela. We're losing a little bit of our depth here, so we need to get some players in. So I totally agree with that. But we got rid of Lamela. It was one of the dead woods that we wanted to get rid of, and so the deal was good. It was an opportunity. You're not gonna turn down an opportunity of a top prospect. And no, and the history of Paratici, people love Federico Chiesa, right?
Yeah.
He That was the type of acquisition he had with Juventus because they already had Ronaldo. They didn't really need him, but they saw that Chiesa was a prospect. They got him, and now Chiesa is. I mean, say his name correctly. Federico Chiesa is. I mean, everybody wants him. Apparently, uh, if we believe the rumor, Chelsea set a bid to Juventus for 95 mil, and Juventus like hell no, because they know Chelsea is the real deal, and so you know, and one Brian Gill, you know, who knows? People talk. Well, he's left-footed, one-footed. Robin, Aaron Robin, he left foot legend. I mean, Messi uses both feet, but he's a lefty. with the left foot. So
And the one-footed thing is also wrong because out of his 4 goals he scored for Ibar last
two,
season, 2 were on his left, 2 were on his right.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
uh,
that's just wrong.
yeah. So it's just but I understand too that that wasn't our priority. And I
Yeah.
100% agree. I 100% agree. It's just that also when an opportunity comes, you take it, especially a top Spanish prospect. You just never know. And if it doesn't work out, he'll be 25 and you can still sell him
Mhm.
for a good price. So, yeah, kid, again, well, let me read a couple of these. Big up, Bob's just woken up for a pee. Awesome. Graham says, got to go, guys. Great stream. I subscribe. Oh, thank you. And guys, if you're watching, hit like and subscribe. Um, take care. Yeah, kid says we are moving into right direction. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, no, like
It's hard,
I
right?
don't know.
It's a little
It's
early to
hard.
tell, I think.
Yeah,
I
it's
I I
really
I for one, I'm excited about Fabio Paratici, not because of the players I think he's definitely going to bring in or any of that, as much as I just like the way he does business. I like the fact that we have a professional who's good at his job, one of the
yeah.
best in that position doing the job, and that Daniel Levy and Steve Hitchen aren't in charge of getting players through the door anymore. Yeah, sure. Again, Daniel Levy still has to sign off on that final price for a purchase, but at the end of the day, he's not selecting the players and he's not sending in the opening bid and he's not doing any of that stuff, and that is a huge positive for this football club.
Well, I mean, I guess, like I said, we're on the same chat board on Twitter, and
Mhm.
like I said, I was really excited, really really excited, and I know
Yeah.
today it was like I got punched in the stomach because it was like a reminder. Oh, Daniel Levy is still here. Um, No, you're right in the sense that Paratici is doing the legwork. He's making the phone calls. He's doing the work. It's just that I finally want to see. Um, I
Big
finally
up,
want
big up.
big
Hey,
up, big
boss.
up. I want to see what Ali Gold put a day ago that Daniel Levy has given Paratici that control and even that control to convince him to say yes. And when I saw the news today, it was like back to reality in the
Yeah.
sense that Paratici, you could do all the work that that you're gonna do, but I get final say. And for me, my history is I don't go for A plus players. I go for B plus, C plus players in hopes that they'll become an A plus player. And that frustrates me because that's not what Manchester City does. United, Chelsea, Real Madrid, the top clubs. And we say that we're a top club, but it's more like a chameleon. Like it is a fake facade that we think we're a top club, and we don't act that way. Because if we had ambition, I said this earlier on the chat, we have high expectations, which is Champions League, but it doesn't match our ambition.
Yeah.
Welcome, Bob Spur.
How you
How
doing,
you
mate?
doing, brother? I'm
Yeah,
doing
all
good.
good, all good. All good, all good. Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably unfair for us to be compare or us to compare to the likes of Man United, Chelsea, and Man City. Different kettle of fish, different chairman. But unfortunately, if the myth is correct and Paratici has been given an open checkbook and a go out find a player and here's your budget, it just doesn't sit right, because if that was the case, Tommy Arsu, who we spoke to a month ago, should have been dealt and done. Why is Paratici dilly dallying over 2 million if that's the case? And the whole Olympics thing can't be used as an excuse. I mean, Brian Hill isn't even here, and we managed to sign him while he's at the Olympics. So big up your kid, cheers, buddy. I'm not sure if Paratici has been given the reins as much as we all are led to believe. Another thing, he's come out. Paratici's allegedly come out and said, or Romano has come out and said, Romero is Paratici's first choice. If he has got full control, why is he dilly-dallying over 8 million? So it just stinks of Levy, and all I can go, but I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I hope Paratici becomes that Don that every fan base seems to be jumping up and down and calling him right. But I can only go by what's happened in the last, I don't know, 14 years. And that's purely a consistent level of a letdown pattern. We've always had to settle for second best. The garden path that we've always been led down has the likes of, I don't know, a Bruno, a Skriniar, a Grealish, a Dybala, a Conte, a Poch, fucking hell, a Fonseca. You know, we were happy to accept Fonseca to come in. That's our mindset. That's the mindset that Levy has put into our fan base. So forgive me for thinking that all this Paratici has been given. Nothing against Paratici. I hope he does. I hope, it's all very well being linked to 584 players. I'm quite happy with him bringing just four of them in, and I hope he does. But forgive me for thinking this stinks of Levy again, because regardless of what Paratici does and who he speaks to, last time I checked, I'm pretty sure Levy and Enoch are still in charge. And that will always continue to be. We stand back, we look at the bigger picture. I'm doing a Cody now. Cody's good at this. If we stand back and look at the picture, look at the bigger picture, we've brought a number 2 goalie on loan, and we brought a 20-year-old player in who, let's be honest, 90%, or 80% of the fan base hadn't heard of till about 3 weeks ago. And now we're trying to justify the signing by looking at stats, clips, highlights, and a few minutes at the Olympics. We're trying to justify it to make us feel better. We're not questioning why he's been brought in. We should give him a chance, of course. But we're happy to justify that signing to make ourselves feel like, yeah, this guy's going to be worth it. And he might turn out to be worth it. But for these 2 signings, for the fan base to turn around and suddenly call Paratici Don Paratici as if we've gone to the next level, I don't understand. And that really surprised me. And I'll be honest, worried me as well. Because I knew there was a change of mindset within the fan base, but I didn't know it was that much. But again, I say it's a wait and see. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he brings in 3 or 4 of these players. But right now, mate, like I say, stand back and look at the big picture. We're a weaker first 11. And we've just brought in 2 average players at this time of moment. They might turn out good, but right now, we don't know. They're 2 squad players. So we are weaker than what we were at the end of last season. And there's 20 days till the kickoff, and we are going to start, like it or not, we are going to start with Dyer and Sanchez in defence. Because even if it's on defence tomorrow, he's not going to start. He is no way going to start if a defender comes in. No one's going to come in this week. Very unlikely. But even if they did come in on a Friday, Saturday, no chance. No chance of starting against Man City. So be prepared for Dyer and Sanchez, like I said.
Yeah, and that would be bad. It would be bad, and
it's reality. It's reality.
Yeah, no,
I think there's a good chance Sanchez won't be here. I think he's very likely.
Please God.
I think he's Dyer very possibly could start that.
He's here.
We're stuck with him. We're stuck with him because Levy decided to go and give him a 3-year contract extension that he didn't fucking earn, and now we're stuck with him. So, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I totally understand how Bob feels, and I've said as much to him. I totally understand it. It's totally reasonable. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I can say.
It's a wait and see, isn't it? It's a wait and see.
Yeah, it's a wait and see. I can't really argue with any of the things you said. I mean, look. I'm like I said, when I'm excited about Paratici, it's not necessarily just because of the 2 players we brought in, as much as what bringing in those 2 deals, what they meant business wise, and just a change in the way that we do business in the transfer market, and that's what I'm excited about. And
But
hopefully
what's
that
changed, Kieran, apart from being linked? I mean, if we brought in every player we were linked with on the hitching,
well,
we
I'm
were,
not talking.
and we speak about past reputation. Why not look at Jose and look at his past position and what happened? Past achievements within Spurs. You're right. You're spot on, mate. The fact he's coming with a large reputation, spot on, and he's done absolutely fantastic at Juventus. But Jose had always won a trophy at every single club he's been to. The fact he was let down by the hierarchy is the fact it never happened at Spurs. And why wouldn't it? Why would it? And that's not me being negative. I'm being skeptical purely because of past experience. Yeah, but from past patterns. Why wouldn't it be the same with Paratici? Hopefully it isn't. But
So what I mean is, again, I'm not talking about his reputation. What I'm saying
yeah,
is,
yeah,
and what's different about these two deals is, for example, the Galini deal would have never happened before Fabio Paratici was here. It would have never happened. We would have, if he wasn't in charge and we were going through this window with Levy and Hitchin, what would happen is we wouldn't sign a replacement. We wouldn't sign another goalkeeper. Hugo would finish the season, leave on a free, and then we'd be totally fucked because we need a goalkeeper. Every club in Europe knows it, and we end up with a mediocre or worse goalkeeper on elite goalkeeper money because we're forced into it. Or Joe Hart starts for us next season. That's the situation I'm talking about.
I suppose. Yeah, you're right.
Levy and Hitchin would have not had the foresight to think, look, we have a keeper here. He's probably not going to sign another contract. He'll probably leave the next season on a free. We need a replacement. Okay, we don't have the money to go out and spend 40, 50, 60 million on a replacement starting goalkeeper. But hey, this kid, he's shown promise before. He's been good. He's playing for a Champions League team, and he wants out. We can get him on a deal that's advantageous to us, which the way this loan is structured is extremely advantageous to Spurs because it's try before you buy. We could play him, and as long as we don't play him 20 matches, we can send him back to Atalanta and not have to pay the fee to make him permanent. But if he's good enough, if we see him in the first 10, 12, 13 matches and he's good enough, let him keep playing throughout the Conference League and stuff like that. And then we've got a decent replacement next year for Hugo. Either way we win. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the players. I'm not talking about what Fabio has done in the past or any of that. It's just intelligent business. It's structuring deals in a way that are advantageous to the club. That's what I'm talking about.
It's all about opinions, isn't it? For me, the intelligent way forward would have been, right, we need defenders. Let's get defenders in, because if we do get defenders in early, they'll be able to bed in. We'll be able to start off with a stronger start, and we've got better chance of finishing top 4 with the defenders in. Okay. And then if we do qualify for top 4, we'll have more money to get that 50, 60.
Tell me this, Bob. Do you want an average defender or do you want an elite defender?
I want a good defender. I want an upgrade. In fact, with all due respect, us three could play at the back and fucking improve that defense right now.
Okay, but do you want just an upgrade, because that's not saying much on our defenders, or do you want
Romero was quite evident. Okay, quite happy to come in.
So that's the thing. Every club in Europe knows we want a center back of that quality, and they are going to make sure they can milk every single pound out of the club for said center back. Yeah. The thing with Romero is, and again, I don't believe these reports. I don't. I think it's ridiculous. It just doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Which reports that?
Well, to say that the deal is not progressing, or even if we are haggling over a few million, it doesn't matter.
It's the same source, Kieran.
I understand, but either way, at the end of the day, all the leverage is with us. The player has personal terms agreed. He wants to come here. He's pushing the club for a move, and the club have to sell because they need the money. At the end of the day, if we say 45 million or we walk, they have to take it. Because nobody else is going to give it to them.
I think it's like I said at the beginning, with our fan base, and it's to understand.
I understand the Levy PTSD, but we got to remove that sometimes and just think pure business, and that's what this is. Business.
And I totally understand that. in that sense because we went through 75 days of just, and even before the 75 days, we've gone through just psychological mess.
Yeah.
And then those who saw hope, like I did, and who knows the history of just disappointment after disappointment and after disappointment and after disappointment, to then be reminded today of how we haggle. Like the smart business were the opportunity deals. The Golini and the Byron Hill deals were opportunity deals where Daniel Levy would easily give maybe the thumbs up. Okay, this is the opportunity deals. But the necessity, the needs deal, the Dybalas, the Manes, the Skinniars, the where we need the Romano, that's the Romero, the Romeros. That's when PTSD comes back because okay, the
Yeah.
opportunity deals, yes, but when the need deals come, that we will always lose a player for that 2 million, the haggle. And this is where Paratici doesn't have full control. When it's a needs deal, which requires to overpay, Paratici has said from his mouth, oh, if I have to overpay 2 or 3 million to get that quality, that filet mignon player, I will do it. Daniel Levy gives the hard shutdown. No, no, no. And that's why the fan base was mad today because they were scared. And they have a right to be scared
Yeah,
because
they
we have been there, done that, and it's discouraging. And you got teams who are doing business as we speak, and it's just like we're not ready. I put the question down. We're not ready to go off and going, and we do that every year. It's frustrating. It frustrates me. You know?
I
Oh,
agree,
okay.
and I understand why people feel that way, and it's totally, again, like I said, it's totally understandable why people saw that news today and immediately went to that feeling. Because yeah, there's the Levy PTSD from all these previous deals that have fell through, but I I'm just not ready to say that okay, this means this one report means that Fabio has no power. It's the same as it always was. I'm just not ready to say that. If the deal falls through, then I absolutely will believe that. And I will be absolutely outraged at the fact that this deal falls through. Because, like I said, from a business perspective, all the leverage is with us. So, and again, you said that Fabio quote where he says, you know, if I have to pay an extra few million to get a player and I really want that player, I'm going to do it. Well, the thing is, does that the key words with that statement are have to. He doesn't have to do it with Romero. And I'm sure that if he didn't have to worry about Levy's sign off at all, then the deal would already be done because we would have paid 50 million or 55 million and it would just be done. But I'm sure Levy is trying to push him. Oh, we'll see if they'll take 5 million less. See if they'll take 10 million less. And he
And
can
that's the problem. And
and that
that's
is
the
the problem.
problem I have.
That is the
Yeah.
problem. But I'm not saying that. But I don't think that means this deal is going to fall through because we have all the leverage. They can't just say they can't walk away from the table and then because there's nobody else who's in for him who's going to spend that kind of money on him
I
either. So
really, I really, Kieran, I'll take on everything you said, mate. And again, just like you see my point of view, I can see yours. But you know, I'm finding, and maybe it's just I don't know, 30 odd, nearly 40 years of supporting Tottenham that you do get a bit delusional and a bit a bit weird. But last, I honestly think this is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, not this is how Paratici does his business. Football club. The priority right now isn't if he has to. Isn't if we have to pay the 5 million. The priority right now is we have to have defenders in. The must have. But with all due respect, the goalkeeper on loan could have waited. Could have waited. I know it's probably too good of an opportunity for to appear for us to turn down. But if he knows his football, if he knows Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, it's not a surprise. We've known since last season that we need defenders. Nothing against Paratici. Like I keep on saying, this results in Daniel Lee. With the situation we're in right now, is purely a domino effect from Levy's indecisiveness of not finding a manager for 70 odd days. And
Absolutely.
we as fans are having to pay for that because the domino effect is there. Not bringing a manager in time, not bringing a DOF on time. Yes, he could have come, he may have only come in at the time. But the fact is, we could have had so many things in place for us not to be in a position where, with 20 days to go before the start of the season, we'd have a weaker first 11. And let's not forget the likes of Kane aren't starting that game as well. So no matter how you look at it, Paratici this, Paratici that, yes, absolutely, good on him. We are still leaving with the Levy effect. No matter how you look at
Yep.
it, even if Paratici, I hope Romero comes in. I've got Kleenex ready. I've got tissues ready for when he comes in because I will jizz my pants. That's how much I like him. That's how much I like
Me
him.
too, man. Me too.
For me, mate, it's and I know when you say here, maybe we should put to one side how it's impossible for me.
It is
It's
hard.
impossible
I
for
understand that.
me. For me, I've seen Levy do it from day dot. It's impossible for me to put that to one side
Yeah.
because, like you both said, this the repeat. It's a repeat. It's a repeat. It's a pattern. And again, we've been led down this garden path of there's Romero at the end of it. We open the door, and it's not a Romero. It's a Rogerson from Scotland or something.
Yeah.
So forgive me for not having. I'm not being negative. That's it's hard
No,
to
you're not.
put,
That's the
put
thing.
no, no,
You're
not against
not
yourself.
at all.
No, no. This is aimed at you, but it's hard to put across my cautious nature and stand back and be a realist without sounding negative. But trust me, I pray to God I'm proved wrong. There's some people out there, without mentioning any names, that would rather be proved right for the betterment of the club. They'd rather see the club suffer and be proved right, whereas I want to be proved wrong and make sure the club becomes a strengthened where they need to. So I'm not saying I want to be proved wrong, and I want Levy to prove me wrong. I want Paratici to prove me wrong. But unfortunately, there are a few members of the fan base out there who rather be proved right and say, ha ha, I told you so. I'm not one of them.
Yeah, I think it was Stell who was mentioning the day that we got Klinsman,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how big that was. I mean, that was an ambition type of signing. Um, if you could tell me about that day, because I'm thinking about when have we ever had? Because yes, we signed Sonny, but
yeah.
it wasn't like the Sonny now. It wasn't like a finished product, and
Uh,
so how was that?
Alan Sugar was getting so much stick. He was getting proper stick because we weren't that good on the pitch. If we're honest with you, we were struggling. The era of the '91 Cup final winning team had gone, all but gone. The memories had all gone. And next minute, fucking Sugar's on a yacht holding up a Klinsman shirt, and we're thinking, as a fan base, we're looking at each other going, "What? It's not April Fool's. What's going on?" And he's pulled it out of the bag. He's pulled it out of the bag. And I'll tell you what, that one signing, it wasn't as bad as. I mean, Alan Sugar was shit, but I'll tell you what, he saved Tottenham Hotspur from going under. He saved us. There was a time where we shouldn't have even been in the FA Cup, and he fought tooth and nail to bring us back into the FA Cup and to overturn a -8 point deduction at the start of the league as well. So he did his bit. He fought for us. His business mind was his footballing mind was all over the place, Levy-esque. But I'll tell you what, he pulled it out of the bag, and we at that time it was unbelievable, and the lift it gave the fan base, because trust me, we really needed a lift. We were going to the likes of Notts County on a Wednesday night and counting on a player called Vinnie Samways to score a goal to keep us in the league. That's how bad it was. And we've been there, we've done it. You ask Brian. So for Klinsmann to come in and then score the overhead kick against Sheffield Wednesday on his first game, and he was known as a diver, always diving, and his celebration to actually run it and then dive as a celebration. He can't, any animosity that he would have had from Spurs fans saying, "Oh, we're not sure about his German," sense of humour he had, the fight he had, mate, It was the best moment under Alan Sugar. It really was. And Levy, I mean, don't get me wrong. Levy has, for me, he has to have a consistent few seasons of progression for me to actually say, you know what, good on Levy. A signing won't make up for the 20 years. He needs to back Paratici now. He needs to bring in a Romero. He needs to bring in two centre backs. The Tommy Arsu deal, I'm not quite sure what's happening there.
Yeah.
A couple of attacking. So it can turn the tide. It can turn the tide. But that Klinsmann signing, mate, was absolutely out of the blue, unbelievable, and it changed the mood within the whole. And this is pre-social media, and we could feel it. God, that made me sound old. That did.
No, no, thank you for the history because I was just thinking about it and just hearing it. I was like, that was maybe our biggest signing of a ready-made A+ filet mignon of a player
That's
that I could think of.
in today's term, Mari. In today's term, it's like Levy going. It's like Lewis, or no, okay. It's like Paratici on a yacht holding a Lewandowski shirt, saying, "There you go, guys." I'm doing it
Uh,
like for like. A guy coming not towards the end of his, but in his 30s, world class, scoring goals wherever he's been. You put that. It wouldn't be a Haaland. It wouldn't be an Mbappe because they're the young players. So I'm looking
yeah,
at the age factor. It would be us signing Lewandowski out of the blue. That's what it would be like. And you can
wow,
imagine how that would feel.
yeah. Yeah, no, that would have been huge at that time, and I was still a kid at that time. Actually, I wasn't a fan of Klinsmann because, mind you, I pulled for Argentina, and I thought the Germans cheated Argentina at that final of the World Cup. So, so I was just like, oh, I don't like Klinsmann, but no, it's just for me. I've
We did.
never,
Yeah, there was a few fan base who weren't sure about him. Well, because he was known as the diving German, who always. But the fact that as soon as he scored that first goal, his celebration was to dive in front of the Spurs fans and celebrate. Mate, it just
yeah.
changed everything. And he spoke so well. And he's Spurs through and through. Even now, every time we see him, he loves talking about Spurs as well. So yeah,
Oh, he wanted the
he's
manager
a top of
job.
the money. Sorry, yeah, he
He
did.
wanted
Yeah,
the manager
he,
job.
he,
Yeah.
kept, he kept on pimping himself out, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean
Yeah,
um,
he's on ESPN over here in the
yeah, that's it.
US,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Which is
literally every time they brought it up, he was like,
yeah.
"Well, I called Daniel, but
On
I
Levy,
haven't got a
yeah,
call back yet." Like,
And if you think, and if you thought Sky Sports was bad against Spurs, ESPN,
oh mate,
oh
FC is the worst. It is
Nickel, Burley,
anti
fucking
yeah,
hell,
fucking
mate.
Craig
anti
Burley.
Spur. Oh,
Yeah,
anti Spur. They have this guy named Moreno who
Yeah,
is like anti
yeah,
Spurs. He won't say it, but it's so anti Spurs, and I just quit sending questions over.
yeah.
But I was gonna say,
Even Stevie Nicol and Craig Burley, they seem to have an agenda about. The only one who speaks
yeah,
a bit of sense on there is that Hislop guy.
yeah.
yeah, Hislop.
No,
Yeah,
Hislop is
Shaka,
the
Yeah,
only one.
Shaka Hislop. Yeah,
Schalke's the only one who,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
then I'm glad
and he
Klinsman's on
played
the
for one
show.
of our rivals as well. He played. He was
yeah.
a
The
West
West
Ham
Ham.
Newcastle.
keeper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
West Ham, yeah. West
yeah.
Ham. No, I came up through the Harry Redknapp days. So for me, big signings or acquiring was the Vandervaarts, the Foes,
Yeah.
the because I was there when Berbatov was just being sold off, and I was just and then
Yeah.
and then we sold Bale, and then later on Modric, and so
Modric, yeah.
but
That's probably the last like ready-made signing we've made
Yeah,
was Vandervaart, right?
yeah,
uh,
Yeah.
definitely. Van der Vaart
yeah,
was was
yeah,
was pro. I mean, the likes of Bale grew into it. Modric was not an unknown, but we didn't know what kind of player he was going to turn into. Obviously, Defoe and Crouch we bought in twice, and they were ready made for the Premier League. Questionable if they were world class. Definitely not world class. But yeah, I suppose they were. I mean, I can't think of anyone. I can't think of anyone who was world class or potential, not even a known potential world class. Because even when we bought Bailey, we didn't know he was going to become world class. Modric, we didn't
yeah,
know he was going to become world class. So
yeah.
there's not anyone that we could point the finger to and say, you know what, this man's going to be world class. Right now, the only player I can think of who come, I mean, the likes of Højbjerg for me is world class now. Anyway, Harry Kane's come through the ranks, is world class. Sonny's world class.
Tanguy,
But
probably.
sorry,
Tanguy, probably.
He could
Tanguy
be.
for me, if he gets his, and I've said this numerous times. You ask David, David Harris, he'll tell you straight away. If he gets his
Yeah.
mind right and he gets his belly right, I think he can become the best midfielder in the world.
I
My
agree.
opinion.
I agree
Agreed.
100%.
I agree.
People rave about Paul Pogba. He pisses all over Paul Pogba with his
Half fit, he
ability.
pisses all over
He does,
Pogba. Not
and
even
the
fully
stuff.
fit, half fit.
Exactly agree.
Exactly. And the stuff
Exactly
that he
agree.
does, the way he controls the ball and takes on defenders and midfielders, I've only seen one player ever do that for Spurs the way he does it, and that's Paul Gascoigne. And trust me, that's saying something. That's saying
Big time.
something.
Big time.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Well, we have a second one, Brian Hill. he he's pretty filthy with the ball, but we will see.
Yeah.
But it's
Hey, as long as he doesn't dribble into crowds of defenders like Lucas and Lamella have done for the past 5 years, then I mean it's an improvement as far as I'm concerned.
oh yeah, the final third is just it's frustrating. And I will say this: Lucas has been better because I couldn't stand those runs by Lucas where it seems like his head is down and I'm like pass the ball, and he doesn't
Yeah.
do it. And I actually had a problem with Raheem Sterling doing that. I know he had a good Euros, but it was the same thing. I'm like, pass the ball to Kane. I'm like,
And
Yeah.
and so that's the
Yes.
only thing that I've seen is a downside with Brian Hill is he has that tendency as well. And
Oh,
every dribbler, any kind of dribbler, especially wingers who want to attack the man, like beat a man on the dribble and beat another guy, and get to the end line or cut in and have a shot. All of those guys all have that issue.
I
Like you
think with
said,
Lucas,
Sterling and all
yeah,
of this,
you're right.
and I
Yeah.
think hopefully it's something we can break him of, but. I've noticed he does have that problem from time to time and watching
Yeah.
him play. So
I think what we had with Lucas, obviously, he played majority of time down the wings, and he's never. I cannot remember Lucas putting in any form of a cross while he's played. But the thing is, with him through the number 10, and remember, we played him through the middle against Man United away under Poch with Jose there. We were beaten 3-0, and Lucas was through the middle with Kane and scored 2 goals. He's better at number 10 because what I think he does is great at closing down people. But I think when he does win the ball, he carries it on. With the likes of Dele Alli, he'll win the ball, but then he'll start looking around and hoping someone comes along and helps out. Whereas Lucas has got the ability to win the ball with pace, get the ball, carry on, take on another 2 or 3 players. 9 times out of 10, there's always someone nearby, be it a Son or a Kane. So a pass is likely to come off, then a cross from out wide where he's not going to find anyone. So, and let's be honest, towards the end of last season, mate, he was our best number 10.
he was
And the way
great.
he played off the friendlies, he's been up with one of our best players. So he will be a great addition to the squad, not the team necessarily. He's not a player who can rely a future on. Of course, he's not. But as a squad player, he can be invaluable, and I'm expecting big things from Lucas, who's going under the radar a bit. We
I think
take it for granted now that he's putting in those performances on a regular basis. So, which is a good thing. The fact we are expecting that that's the least we're expecting from Lucas is absolutely fantastic, and I think I think he might surprise a few people this season.
I think I agree. I think he's going to have a big season. I think
Yeah,
just what we've seen from him in preseason already, he's firing on all cylinders. He's ready to go,
absolutely,
and
mate.
I'm
Absolutely.
really excited. And one of the things, since you're mentioning how he's better as a number 10 than out wide, and I totally agree with that. One of the things I liked though is in the Colchester game. If you noticed, Lucas was playing on the right wing,
Mm,
but he was often cutting inside, dropping inside into that number 10 area of the
in the
field
middle.
and picking up the ball and carrying it from there. And that allowed Sonny to also drift right
yeah,
and then cut back inside towards the box. And that that's just brilliant from Nuno right there, and that's
And
in
Kieran,
preseason.
Kieran, two identical first time balls, through balls from Lucas. One to Scarlett, obviously against Orient, and a
Yep.
Colchester he put through a ball one touch as well. And the player who receiving it had to break stride once. So I'm expecting a lot of things from Lucas, but I said that from the end of last season. I think people saying, "Oh, Lucas should move on." Nah, I think it'll be a fantastic addition, not addition, but
Yeah,
a part of our squad. If he's coming off
probably
the bench,
better.
mate, and we're 1-0 down, I'm expecting things to change, which you can't say for many other players.
Yeah.
Spurs 72 says, of course. Have you guys ever watched Aaron Lennon? That's Brian Hill potential. Um, Aaron Lennon, one of my favorites. Like I said, I really love. Um, that's when I fell in love with Spurs. The Aaron Redknapp era. Yeah, Aaron Lennon. Um, Brian Hill.
I don't know if they're equivalent. I think Brian Hill. I think Aaron Lennon, for one, he could fly. He could absolutely fly. He was so fast. I
So
really,
stamina as well, guys. So much.
yeah, he could just.
You would see him attack, and literally seconds later be in the right back position. Trying to. He was the most hard-working right winger I've ever seen, and the best goal. Unfortunately, the best goal he ever scored at White Hart Lane was for Everton when he came back and scored the winner
Yeah,
for them against us. When it beat us 1-0. But mate,
Unselfish as well. Like that
oh
goal
mate,
Crouch
he was
scored in the Champions
oh
League.
oh yeah,
oh yeah, yeah,
absolutely
yeah, yeah.
rapid,
Yeah.
rapid, absolutely rapid. Love Aaron Lennon, absolutely love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, guys, thank you oh so much. You guys have the distinct honor of my first ever live stream.
Only
I
got
just
up for
want
a
to
week.
thank, yeah, I thank so much in a week where you hit your 1,000K, and I
Cheers, man. I'd love to sit.
man,
I'd love to sit here and say, you know what, it was all down to me. So I will. So I will.
it's all down to you. Yeah,
No, but
just there.
yeah,
No, just the encouragement and just the love that you just the support for me, and I just love your show and be able to watch. Like I said, the only access because honestly I got tired. And mind you, I work in the education field, school guidance counselor. Sometimes I would it was two things. I would try to get Tottenham news from ESPN FC, and they're just so biased and just so anti. And so that became discouraging to a point that I don't even hear their podcast anymore as much.
yeah,
But I was listening to Last Word on Spurs, and so what happened is I religiously listened to Last Word on Spurs, which led me to Chris Cowlin.
yeah,
Then Chris Cowlin's channel then introduced me to the Irish Hotspur,
yeah,
and then I found you, Bob, and then all of a sudden it was around February, March, May. I felt like, hey, I'm finding a family here that I can share and invest in, and I look at you guys as a family. We may not always agree,
Absolutely.
but it's just a one big happy dysfunctional PTSD family,
I've
and
warned you, man.
I love
I warned you, when you get into that Spurs family group chat, it's gonna fuck you up. And
it. Oh yeah, yes. Oh yes, it is. And I'm already used to piss off, blank blank piss off, just in terms of endearment. So I was just like, wow, okay,
yeah,
and the chat today, I started it. If you guys know,
yeah,
I actually
yeah,
started it because I found out the news because I was one of those. Like I said, I joke around about the whole Don Paratici, and I see the pictures whatsoever. And like I said, on the last stream, on Tommy's stream, I kind of had that little hope and ran with it. And by the end of the day, I was like, this guy's not the Godfather. He's Fredo. He's Fredo
yeah,
Corleone. Because Daniel Levy is still runs the family, the mafia family.
that's it.
It's just I heard
Teaches the trousers. D. Levy's wearing the belt.
yeah.
That's the
I
thing.
heard on your show, it was uh, Fred Paratici. Someone said
Yeah,
Fred.
Frank Paratici,
Frank,
yeah.
Frank,
Frank.
Frank. Yeah, and that's what I thought Fredo. I was like, oh, more like
Frank,
Fredo.
yeah, man.
Fredo from The Godfather. So, and
Yeah.
but thank you guys so much, and I
No,
gotta
big
go
up.
sleep. I got work in the morning.
Yeah, big up.
Yeah, no, happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, no, I saw you going at it, and I was like, man, he's been on for like an hour by himself. Like that's impressive. Like I can't do live streams by myself. Not like I always got to have somebody else. So your first
Oh
one, you
man.
were just going at it, and I was like, I got to jump in here and give him a rest. He's been talking for an hour
Thank
straight.
you. Thank you. And I had a bottle of water and I spilled it, half of it. I was like, oh crap! I've been talking this long. I'm like, oh, I need a break. I need a break. But well,
You did absolutely fantastic, mate.
You did awesome.
My first ever live stream was me literally saying, "What the fuck's going on here?" Do you know why? Because I'd sat there, set it all up, pressed record, and did a 45-minute stream by myself. I had it was on a different format. It wasn't StreamYard. It was something else. So there was no comments or anything. It was just me talking live on YouTube. And at the end, I pressed stop, and the clock was still going. And I was like, "Well, what the fuck's going?" But then I realised the clock was only saying 5 seconds, 6 seconds. So I hadn't recorded anything. I actually started recording when I finished. So there is a live stream out there with me with it being 7 seconds long, and all you see is me going, "What the fuck's going on here?" That's it. And that was my first live stream. I think I managed to delete it somewhere. I'm sure I've got it somewhere, but that was my first ever live stream. So
Oh,
trust me, you've done well, mate. For 2 hours 22.
thank you, man. And I'm actually a praying man. I got you in October, man. I'm praying for your surgery. I got you
Oh,
in my
bless you, mate.
prayers, man.
Bless you. Thank
Yeah,
you,
no
bro.
doubt.
Listen, guys, life's too short. Regardless of how much Spurs might stress you out, and it will stress you out. And there's so many bigger things in life, and better things in life. You know, I've got my kids. I've got life. So things can be a lot lower. Hey, we could all be Arsenal supporters. So
Oh
trust
yeah.
me, it's
Oh,
not. Life is too short, and life isn't that bad. Stand back, look at the bigger picture. There's so much out there, man. There's so much out there.
all right. That's an excellent message to go out on, and thank you, my brothers, and our next stream will be coming up. Set up a schedule which will conflict with anybody else's show. So I got you guys. I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you guys. Hit the like, subscribe, and hopefully in 2 years, 3 years, I hit 1,000K. Who knows?
You'll get there. You'll get there.
All
Leave you
right,
out.
brother. Leave you out. All right.
come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
Come
you
on.
Spurs.